Hello, we're back with another Quake Brutalist Jam III map. Today we're playing Godflesh by Nate Alvini. This is a really pretty map with some lovely detailed brushwork, big pipes, glowing green nukage. It's very Quake 3 feeling, and on top of that you have this lovely brushwork crucifix in the main courtyard, which is a direct reference to the cover of Godflesh's Song of Love and Hate album, which is pretty darn cool as well. My usual style of play is kind of like a clumsy elephant rampaging through a town square. It's not really compatible with a appreciation for the finer aesthetic qualities of a map. I do realise that's a limitation with this series because I'm in such a rush. So I thought I'd show off a couple of nice shots here and there before we got started. Anyway, let's get into it. So you can see in this outer area where we start off the level of detail that's already on display. The mossy sort of textures on the ground and everything like that. It looks fantastic. That is required for a secret, that switch, and on the other side there's another secret. Now to avoid having to jump down more than once, I just jump off the lip of the pipe and it acts as a ramp so I can get a bit of height. Don't do a very good job there, it's actually pretty slow and I bump my head on the door frame. Usually though, if you do a little bit of a circle jump, you can just make that jump onto the upper pipe, without having to slowly inch your way up. Quick little loop here to give ourselves a key. The switch that we pressed opened up a little outer courtyard gate here, which gives us some armor shards, which I don't really need to be honest with you, but hey, why not? Let's take them. Let's take some of them, right? Before moving on. And getting the old double swipe there, which makes up for things. This outer area with the crucifix is why I feel kind of bad because I don't really look at it that much. I spend most of my time just fighting. This fight is on a timer and it's sort of spawn stuff on the left and the right once you get this initial wave with the ambush of the grenadiers. But it's a little bit slow. In general, the timings for the spawning waves, for me at least, is always a little bit slower than I feel that is necessary for it to be. Like, the tempo of the map is still being dictated by me. I feel like I have a lot of time just to relax. So you can even do Stations of the Cross like that, a bit of the old lapsed Catholic thing going on there, just for shits and giggles. But it's always an ambush to the left, and then the right, then the right, then the left. We can even see these guys here, they're going to come in, look at that. Spawn on the other side behind us again. Get in this position though, we can telefrag ourselves a lovely grenadier. And this button here, you might think, why didn't you press this earlier when you had loads of time? That's because this door's on a timer. You have to get in and it locks you in otherwise. This is what really reminds me of this area, especially this central thing there. It reminds me a lot of like Quake Live map. I don't know why. I'm not sure which map it reminds me of even, but it just reminds me of Quake Live a great deal. Pressing the two buttons gives us the multi-missile launcher, which is the only explosive weapon in this map. And what's actually genuinely interesting here is that the majority of the ammo that you get from it above the initial pickup comes from one thing only, and that's the bodies of our friends here, the grenadiers. So I collect as much as I can. So I've got at least 3 volleys to use, which I want to use kind of parsimoniously. Some more telefragging here. Collecting the key makes everything go a little bit crazy. But as I say, with a lot of these fights, because of the structure of the way things spawn in, I have plenty of slop, if you will, slack sometimes just to chill out and mind my own business. I do love these little random placements of like enemies around explosives as well, just adds that little bit of spice to things. More ammo just around that ring, nothing else there. But it is worth mentioning, I have to take it easy and wait a little bit here because there is just one servitor that spawns in a little bit later than the others. I don't really understand why that is. So going to this outer courtyard area here, this is actually the best example of where the timing waves for the monsters are a bit strange. There's these pairs of servitors that come out, but they come out so delayed, like so incredibly delayed, that when you're playing quickly like this, they come out delayed to a way which actually makes it harder to do something later on. So I actually stop here and deliberately take a little bit of time. I slow my roll just to get at least one pair to spawn. And then give a little bit of time so the other 2 pairs can spawn in by the time I come back outside. Because you get a berserk power up in a bit and you don't want to waste it. So you want everything to be active so you can just kind of plow through it rather than having to stop here. The door on my left here, that's the gold key door, which I'm going to be going through shortly. So that's the first step. I'm 116 monsters, I think, okay, that's fair enough. We can just admire the outer area with the flame stacks on the chimneys and stuff. It looks very, very nice. and then we come back into this area here. So I take my time here. I've got plenty of time to play with. If I do this very quickly with the combat, I would have actually waited another couple of seconds, so it's kind of nice that it didn't quite work out as nicely as it could have here. Stuff didn't filter toward me the way I really wanted it to. And since I've timed this also perfectly, look at this, we get our berserk. We take damage 3 times, because we can't time punching. Jump onto the secret here. Punch, punch, punch. As we get to the door, exactly on time, our last 2 servitors appear. Head through the doorway, and this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to punch both of these shamblers and get through these hordes of knights. Now, I don't really do a good job here. I kind of messed up a shot there. That could have gone better. But at least I get 1 hit on the shambler. And in doing so, though, I managed to punch a lot of these knights and keep them all in one place, which meant I could just clear them up nicely. That's what I wanted to do. It's a really smooth way you can do that. You can just get everybody to filter in. And then when you're done, of course, we could say it's anticlimactic, but it's also an interesting thing. You end up going into an apartment building at the end. Somewhat different from the rest of the map. And we have a nice little room here. Poster on the wall for Sacred Bone Records there. Alan Vega, Moon Duo, some other people putting things out in there. I believe one of the posters, I'm going to keep talking, is for Zandra Metcalf's music project, UBOA. Then there's some books on the floor as well. Bit of theory. Judith Butler's latest, Who's Afraid of Gender? Complaint by Sarah Ahmed, which is a feminist work about abusive power dynamics in institutions like higher education, which I've not read. I don't know much about that one, unfortunately. And yeah, there you go. Just a nice little My Room, bit of personality at the end of it to go into. And what a beautiful map. What a beautiful map. Really, really pretty. Maybe the timed aspect of some of the fights wasn't the best. I'm not sure about that. It feels like I had a bit too much opportunity to play at my own pace. I would have liked it if the map pushed back a little bit harder, but hey, great time, eh? So, I hope you've enjoyed this little video. I hope you've enjoyed this map. Go out and read some Butler. Go get into some Catgirl Death Industrial music and play Quake Brutalist Jam 3. Natalie Vinnie's done a really good job. She's fantastic. Thank you very much.